Hi, everybody. Um, in the practice section, I'm going to take you on a poem walk where we take a stroll through a poem together. I have provided a guide with questions and sentence starters, and I expect you to answer each one. Please follow the directions carefully, and if you don't mind, if you could make your answers in a different color so they really stand out to me when I read them, that would be great. I'm going to read the directions to you. So if that is helpful for you, then just press pause when it comes time for you to answer a question and then press play again and I'll tell you the next direction. All right, so we're going to read a poem now called Instructions on Not Giving Up. So click on the link to the poem. I want you to copy the poem onto a piece of paper by hand and then number each line. If that kills you, then fine. Print the poem and number the lines, but you are missing out because here you can see I copied both of our poems from today and it helped me to think about the poem. It made the poem feel like mine, and now I can go back to it whenever I want. So that's why you should write it out. Okay. But if that kills you, print it out. Number the lines. Okay. So first, read the poem out loud to yourself or click on the link to hear me read it with some pictures along with it too. Now, what is your first impression of the poem? Just write down anything that you think the poem is about, that the poem reminds you of, any feelings the poem makes you have. Record those now. Okay. And right off the bat, we're going to talk about fuchsia funnels in line one. It is a kind of strange thing to say. I had to Google cherry, what was it? Crabapple trees to try to understand what is a fuchsia funnel. And the picture did help. But I think also she chose those words because she wanted to use the technique of alliteration. And she does use that throughout the poem. So press pause and find and write down 3 other examples of alliteration in the poem. Okay. The poet also uses metaphors where she compares two things directly, such as when she talks about the flowers on the trees being the world's baubles and trinkets. So let's take this apart. I'm going to give you a hint. There's another holiday when we hang baubles and trinkets from a tree. What holiday do we hang baubles and trinkets from a tree? And now that you've realized that holiday, what do we usually call those baubles and trinkets? What's another word for baubles and trinkets? Write it down. Okay, another metaphor that she makes is when she says that there's a spring rain and all of the flower petals from the trees fall to the ground. And then she calls those petals on the ground the confetti of aftermath. So think, have you ever seen the aftermath of a fun party? What does it look like? And when you think of the aftermath of a fun party, what feeling does it remind you of? Can beautiful flowers on the ground create a similar feeling? Think about that and write about that. Okay. She also has a metaphor of a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us. So she's comparing the new green leaves to what happens inside of us when we're getting over something difficult. So why does she compare? How do those two things relate? Why does she compare new leaves to us healing from whatever winter or any hard time has done to us? Okay. A simile, a new slick leaf unfurling like a fist to an open palm. Here, all I want you to do is think about, based on the description that comes after the word, what is another word that means the same thing as unfurling? Okay, 2 more. There are 2 more interesting words, as in the line, the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs. Sometimes obscene means offensive or disgusting, and other times it means outrageous and shocking. Which definition matches how the word is used here? And how can cherry limbs with flowers on them be obscene? Explain that. And then finally, the word plotting on line 9. What do you think that means? And which other words led you to that conclusion? Write that down.